is everybody? Hi! It's great to see ya. Alrighty, so, okay. I sound like I'm coming in loud and perhaps even clear. That is great. Yeah, no, I sound good. But yeah, no, how is everybody? I'm doing pretty good. I went to the theater with a couple of friends to see the amazing digital circus, The Last Act. I will not be talking about it for the sake of spoilers. There was a disclaimer that I missed at the beginning, apparently saying not to spoil, and then at the end I heard somebody immediately say, "Oh, we're gonna spoil it so hard." So, yeah, they clearly didn't listen to the intent of the creators of the film. I'm gonna wait to talk about it until like it's out on YouTube proper, because it's unfair to people who have not like actually seen it or are able to see it in theaters to be spoiled from me. This is not about the movie, but this is about the audience. I was overstimulated by the rest of the audience. They did not understand cinema etiquette. I may be an outlier because I'm a big movie buff. I enjoy movies a lot. I like going to the theater. I like engaging with films. They're very good. I really need to watch Project Hail Mary. I have not gotten the chance to yet. I loved Iron Lung. Project Hail Mary sounds really good. I recently watched the two Dune movies, and they were spectacular. And The Amazing Digital Circus, The Last Act was pretty good. It was pretty good. I'd give it about a 7 or 8 out of 10, I think, overall. But I'm definitely considering watching episode 9 when it comes out on YouTube. And that's about as much as I'm gonna say on it. Again, for spoiler reasons. I'm also making sure to fill the noise as I put on Outer Wilds. Alrighty, let me know if it's a bit quiet. I just need to make sure that things are working properly. I can hear it a bit in the background. Yeah, no, today we are gonna be doing some DnD world building, which I am super excited about. I feel like I could keep talking about this city forever. You know, the wonderful city of Marrowhurst. We talked a bit, like, not a while ago now, but a fair bit now, ago, about the Rat's Nest, you know, the big sort of Kowloon Walled City type area of the city. Which is very cool. Then I tried talking a little bit about the Red Light District, critiquing other people's D&D homebrew sort of took precedent because I always love doing that. You know me. I love to yap. I love to critique. You know, it's me. I'm the critique clown, and I'm gonna critique your favorite games. Like an AVGN knockoff or a Nostalgia Critic knockoff. I'm the critical clown. Yeah, very cool. You know, let's make sure that that's there and that we move to art time. It's definitely a thing that I want to create a unique seed for D&D stuff in the future, but you know, I have to work on the assets. Oh, which reminded me. Oh, but I don't think I've made a lot of progress that I haven't shown off. I don't think. I have some last-minute schoolwork to finish up before my term ends in about a week. And so I'm gonna see how much time I can put in to getting it done then. And then Sunday will be... this Sunday will probably be the last stream of the video game. Because we've been making really good progress. We are currently in Zone 2. So, you know, I finished Zone 1 and 0. I've made good progress in 2. And then I believe after this, what I have to do, from what I know, there's like 4 zones, right? Four zones and a secret 5th zone because of... you know, all the elements. You know, there's the secret elements. There's the 4 elements. There's smoke, there's meat, there's metal, and then there's something else. I forget what the 4th one is. I might not have come across the 4th one yet, but I may have. Who knows? Let me grab some water. I have a cat on my lap. Wonderful. I keep trying to find time to do some editing because I discovered Kden Live, I think it is. Hold on, Yeah, Kden Live. It's like a free and open source editing software that I've heard good things about, and I've been trying to figure out how to edit in it. It's a little bit different than Blender. You know, Jeremy edits is what I want to do is much more minimum editing. You know, having it be like refined. You know, the same Bojangles experience that you've come to know and love, except a little more curated. And then with Potato Jeremy, I want him to go wild with the edits. I want full creative freedom from him to make things as good as possible. And so those will be different. They might end up being on the same channel, who knows? Maybe on a different channel that's like the same channel as like when I do start doing short form content, like on YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels or something like that, you know. You know, something similar. All right, time to turn up the gain a little bit. Who is this? I just got a notification. Oh no, I know who that is. I was wondering who the hell that was. I got a notification for YouTube, but it's somebody I follow. I just forgot their name. Apparently I have no snoozes, and ads start in like minute 30. Apparently. You know, I appreciate that Twitch is giving me knowledge. Going to college to get more knowledge, as opposed to going to Jupiter to get more stupider. Alright, let me see. So, make sure that I'm clicking on that. Let me go to... Okay, so that would be an M for Marrowhurst, and then through Marrowhurst I can go through to the Marrowhurst docks. There we go. My leg's falling asleep, ma'am. Oh, sorry, you're not ma'am, you're miss. My leg's falling asleep, miss. I just want you to know that. You can tell I'm a gamer because I naturally rested my my hands in the gamer position of WASD and Shift and the other on the mouse, which is very cool and awesome. Let's see. The docks are the most are where most things, both legal and illicit, come in and out of the Marrowhurst docks. This being the case, there are multiple more seedy organizations and gangs which operate within the docks. This, paired with the closeness of the red light district, has led the docks to be a place of ill repute. The docks are also the main place of work for many of the residents within the Outer Ring. So I'm gonna immediately go, oh, ad break has started. Immediately, apparently. How's everybody doing? I got news a bit ago. I may have talked about this before, but I got news that Markiplier is doing a physical release of Iron Lung. And dude, I want that so bad. I'm gonna get that DVD copy and I'm gonna watch it. It's gonna be great. I absolutely loved that movie when I watched it in theaters. Insanely good. Peak even, but not the video game. The video game peak, I mean, because I have to specify, because Iron Lung has a video game. I'm not talking about the video game. I'm talking about, I'm making a joke about Peak the game. It's nice that you find me a safe space to wash yourself. It does make it a little inconvenient. You don't need to stop on my account, but genuinely. There we go. Also, from the library, I went to the library the other day. Day before yesterday, I think, and I got this book that I am looking into reading, called The Icarus Hunt by Timothy Zahn. Now, if you're at all familiar with Star Wars novels, you'd be familiar with his name because he's the guy that first wrote Thrawn, the famous Thrawn trilogy. And is the reason that that character exists, who's also a fan favorite in Star Wars Rebels, and exists in the Ahsoka show. But this is one of his original novels, like not a part of a thing, right? Not a part of a pre-existing franchise. It ended up becoming a book series later, but from my understanding, this book is standalone from it. So, you know, I'm excited to check it out. I will admit, I am judging the book by its cover. I know I'm not supposed to do that, but the cover art by, hold on, there's credits for them in the front of the book. The cover art by Paul, it's either Yule or Yule, because it's Youll. Fantastic job on the cover art. Amazing. I also got the second book in the Legend of Drizzt, the Dark Elf trilogy, from the library, because I've read the first one, but because somebody who will remain nameless, got the book from the school library and then got expelled, I was never able to read the second one until now. So I'm looking forward to reading it. I need to reread the first book in the Legend of Drizzt series. For those who don't know, Legends of Drizzt is a series of licensed DnD books, where like the main character is a dark elf from the Underdark. I won't say more than that because spoilers, I suppose, but like, it's very cool. I really, really enjoyed the first book. Hi, miss. I'm moving my leg. I'm starting to feel a lack of circulation. The blood's like either stuck in my foot or missing in my foot. So I'm gonna need to fix that. It's gonna feel like hell in a moment. But I want you to know I love you dearly and that I appreciate every moment we spend together. I love you, okay? I love you dearly. Alright. I no longer have a cat on my lap. Very cool. And it says ads are over, so we will get to writing now. Unlike One Piece fan art, where I feel like there's not actually a lot that people miss out on when they go to ad break, so I can continue, because drawing is a slow process, and, you know, I'm gonna yap anyways, you know? What I yap about is not usually specifically on topic for the thing at hand when I'm working on One Piece fan art. Which reminds me, before we actually get to writing, I do want to say, during the trip yesterday when I went to see the Amazing Digital Circus, The Last Act, I managed to get my hands on the next omnibus issue of One Piece that I've been needing to add to my collection. That's right. I now have volumes 16, 17, and 18. And this set is where the Hero Look storyline happens. The classic Hero Look storyline that everybody loves, but is way better in the anime, I'm gonna be honest. It's better in the anime. I can't believe I'm saying this, but the anime did something right in its Hero Look. I say that's a joke. The anime has done... Don't mind me being tired. I got back, like, at close to 9 in the evening yesterday, so I was up a bit later, and so I'm EP and tired. I'm EP tired. But like, yeah, no, Drum Kingdom is one of those like little arcs within a bigger saga, like, you know, Alabasta Saga, where I think that it stands on its own merit. I like how they introduce Nefertari Cobra, you know, King Cobra. By the way, love his name. Like, I love how they introduce him in the flashback with Wapple. And Vivi as a little kid, you know, with at the Reverie, talking about the rise of the Revolutionary Army and how it's dangerous that there's revolution somewhere, because that could mean revolution comes knocking on their door. And then Wapple's like, oh, that would never happen to my kingdom. I'm Wapple. I shit my pants, and I'm the one of the worst villains in One Piece. Besides fucking invincible Iron Pearl. Blah, blah, blah. I suck as a character. Blah, blah, blah. Even though my power's kind of cool and it get weirdly important later in the manga. Because of a cover story that's not shown in the anime. So him showing up again and more important, which I think is happening around now in the anime. I'm not familiar. I think it already happened because it was during Egghead, and now we're in Alabasta for the anime. Not Alabasta. Not Alabasta. We're in Elbaf. We're in fucking Elbaf. Hey, guess what? The anime's doing something a little weird. We're going back to Alabasta, doing it all over again. Crocodile is back. And more evil and more coup-esque than ever. Can't believe it. I can't believe it's happening. Absolutely wild. Let me get some water. I have a water bottle that has a bunch of different sci-fi writers on it. Like their names on it associated with different like measurements, like ounce measurements on the water bottle. And I saw Asimov, you know, the classic Asimov, which I need to read his novels. That's on my personal list. I read that as Asmongold for a moment, and I got so confused. Like, when has he written a sci-fi novel that's famous enough to put him on this, like, oh, these are famous sci-fi writers, like a water bottle? Like, when did that happen? But no, it's Asimov. I enjoy science fiction. It's a good genre. in a lot of cases it's basically fantasy, but in others, like the real good sci-fi uses the medium and like the particulars of it, not the medium, well yes the medium, but the I meant the genre, uses the genre to say something about like our modern life through the lens of either an alternate world, a far off galaxy, or like a distant or not so distant future. Like I would say that cyberpunk is a really good the property, not the genre. Specifically, but like the property cyberpunk is, I think, a really good example of science fiction done well. It has a particular thing to say about our modern society. There's a lot of analogs to it. And through a lens of not quite our world, because there was a divergence point in the timeline between them and us. It's good. It's very good. It's quite spectacular, even, much like Spider-Man. Well, I keep getting distracted because I have things to talk about. Dear God, the streamer is yapping. The streamer is yapping, which is almost like part of their job. Dear God. Time to do the graph view while I write. Here's a faction that I think exists here. The Dock Workers Guild. The Mirrorhurst Dock Workers Guild. So that I can add link, because I think there might be other Dock Workers Guilds somewhere. And then I can do this and go the Dock Workers Guild. And then it'll look like I meant to say just that the entire time. The Dock Workers Guild is an organization that was created out of necessity. I mean, it's not telling me it's wrong, so it might not, so it might be right. It's an organization that was created out of necessity. In order to avoid exploitation from the city and from merchants and the powers that be in the city itself. It's fascinating that modern unions sort of come from a tradition of guilds. However, and I think I've brought this up before, guilds act a little bit more like a mix of your typical like workers union and a mafia, which I think is fascinating. It's a fascinating thing to think about, of like the Dock Workers Guild sort of stiffing people out of money. But also they are there for a purpose. Otherwise people would be exploited by, you know, these rich merchants and these sort of powers that be that are like, no, you're working for me, you're working for pennies, you are working for copper, you are not even getting your allotted silver a day as per the, I believe, the poor wealth bracket. D&D 5e wealth. Wealth brackets. No, let me look at lifestyle. Thank you, Roll20. I don't want to go to. I really do not want to go to D&D Beyond. They are trying to make D&D a subscription service, and that makes me so upset because I want to own my games. If I cannot own my games, I will start pirating the games, because if buying isn't owning, then piracy isn't stealing. I want to own my books. I like having books. I have a big set of tabletop books over my desk on my shelf that I built with my own and my grandfather's collective bare hands. We worked together on this, which means there's no shelf like it in the world. I'm saying that because I'm so fucking proud of this shelf. But like I built a nook specifically for my tabletop books, and I would like to keep it that way. I forgot to have breakfast this morning, I've realized. Side note, not really that important. Okay, yeah, no. So let me see. Self-sufficiency. The expenses and lifestyles described here assume that you are spending your time between adventures in town. Hold on. Lifestyle expenses. Okay, wretched is nothing. Squalid is 1 silver. Now, this includes, you know, all the stuff you can afford to live. You know, that's why. What was it? It's daily expenses. Because you know, all the stuff besides extra purchases are lumped into that, right? And then, you know, if you live in a place where you're renting or you have a tax, right? The tax would typically be yearly. Actually, it'd be a yearly tax, because it's when the tax man literally comes around knocking on doors, being like, "Hey, give us your money for the king." Actually, no, it'd be, "Give us your money for the lord, who gives his money to the baron or duke or whatever, who gives them their money to the king." A complicated process, but you gotta give the money. But it would be yearly, so, you know, they might be able to save up some. But, like, yeah, no, it's like, we're not even gonna give you a proper silver. We're gonna give you a copper a day, and you will be happy to have it. You'll be incredibly happy to have it, I assure you. Let me see what comfortable is. Comfortable, if you're in a modest or comfortable lifestyle in D&D 5e 2014 rules, that is 1 gold or 2 gold a day in expenses, which means you should at least be getting at least that amount of money a day, but not quite 4. Because 4 puts you into wealthy? Although I guess you could be saving up money and then live a lifestyle. You could be wealthy and then live a comfortable lifestyle and save up that money, right? You could. DnD 5e wages. Oh yeah, no, they'd yeah, no, that applies to NPCs too. All right, like I'd imagine in a place like this one what was it? Yeah, village, that's the word. I'm forgetting words in my own native language. That's insane. But you know, in the village in the adventure that I'm writing, which I need to get back to writing, but I've been focusing so much on both school and also spending time with, making sure to still spend time with people, and working on the Ori and the Blind Forest thumbnail, which is making good progress, by the way. It's just been taking up a lot of time. You know, once I get that thumbnail done, I should be good on that for a bit until I need to start working on the next thing, which is... Let me go through my schedule. Oh, wait, no, this is the end of the original schedule. I need to make more schedule. Man. I need to make more schedule. Oh, I think the next is gonna be Phoenix Wright 2. I want it to be Phoenix Wright 2, I should say. Which will go for a while, but I do want to do some stuff with the model to emphasize more that there's my tentacles in the puppet. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun. I cried at the end of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Like when it fully ended, and I did the special, like, extra final chapter, you know, that they added in after after the actual base game. And then I can't wait to get to the second one and the third one, and I can't wait to eventually it's not immediately on the docket, but it's eventually, because I don't own them yet, the Apollo Justice games. I also want to play those because I've heard they're good. But you know, sorry I keep yapping. I'm wait, why am I apologizing? That's my job. My job is to yap, but I should be yapping on topic. My job is literally to yap. All right, let's see where I was. The Dockworkers Guild is an organization that was created out of necessity in order to avoid exploitation from merchants and the powers that be in the city itself. As it has grown in size and influence, what? Man. Twitch closed on my phone, like on its own. That is absolutely insane. Is the screen frozen? Hold on. Oh no. Now we're good. Now we're good. Dude, that was scary. That was terrifying. A jump scary, even. And as it has grown in size and influence, it has begun to act more like a mob. Yeah, like a mob. Because mafia is a very specific word, but a mob is basically the same thing as, you know, organized crime. And mob versus... And the mob versus the cartel, what's the difference? Oh, the cartel is, like, specifically... Oh no, there are different kinds of organizations. Let me look this up. For example, the triad is Chinese, mafia is Italian, gangs tend to be American. Mob is more of a disgruntled conglomeration. Yeah, conglomeration of people with a shared goal but nothing else in common. The others are divided up as explained above. This is from 12 years ago, by the way, so none of this is AI. Cartels are businesses, so to speak, that follow a certain practice, force the price of something up high and keep it there, which involves restricting competition and other questionable acts, many of which straight up flood into the illegal / immoral realm. See Mexican drug cartels, De Beers Diamond Cartel. Oh yeah, the De Beers, right, yeah. It's definitely not a triad. A mafia appears to be similar, but relating to Italy, originally Sicily in particular, instead of China. They attain their goals through extortion and automatically involves breaking the law. The usage of the word can apply to non-Italian entities, but in general, mafia is conjure an image of Italian organized crime. Like, and I say this with all the seriousness in my voice. I believe it's La Cosa Nostra. Yeah, La Cosa Nostra. I have a hard time trailing my R's in a quick word, or like doing the tap. Yeah, La Cosa Nostra. Yeah, like they have a serious grip on Italian politics, and so I do not.
Mafia is not an aesthetic.
But like genuinely. You know, the organized crime is scary. I should know. Our government's an organized crime syndicate. And I don't say that as a haha government bad, they're evil, even though they are. Like, they act like an actual like criminal organization. The mob is the American mafia. As prior explained, the mafia began in Sicily when mafia families moved to the United States and continued their lifestyles. The mob came to be the identifier. What are called made men, which refers to full members, are to be of Italian descent. I thought the mob was like not specific, because I heard of the Irish mob. Which used to be a thing because the Irish and the Italians were not considered white back in the day. They were oppressed minorities the same way as all the others. I think like not to nearly the same extent as the black people we kidnapped and enslaved, but I believe didn't we also enslave the Irish to some extent? I feel like I heard that somewhere. Either way, they were involved in the later sharecropping, which was also not a great system. But not important. I'm just trying to find the right term for it. It seems like mob is the right word. Yeah, mob is the right word. Also, fun little crime history lesson, I suppose. Yeah, learning with Pajongos. That would be a fun little jingle if I ever go through with doing that educational show thing that I want to do. which I can't wait to sort of not phase out gaming. I don't want to phase out gaming, but like, really go into that variety streamer sort of thing that I want to do on Sundays. Story time and education and still doing gaming and stuff like that, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. But I also do really enjoy gaming. If I don't find enough time to game, I might make a like a channel, like a dedicated Let's Play sort of recorded channel, in order to keep going with gaming and be like, hey, check this out, please, check out my gaming. But that's not. That's neither here nor there. The Dockworkers Guild, more like, it has begun to act more like a mob. They raise the cost of their services and sabotage. That's not how you spell that. Sabotage. It's the Sabo age with a T. There he is, my boy, Debo. Because I guess he doesn't have a last name. He got rid of it. I had a last name, but they took it in the divorce. God. Oh, I just remembered a thing that happened in the theater. Bizabizel posted a thing about it on her Blue Sky. I don't think that was the theater. I really hope it wasn't the theater I was in, but it definitely happened in the theater I was in. But like everybody singing along to that Kane bit, to that Kane like musical number. It's my least favorite song in the entire soundtrack. I think Gooseworks fumbled when writing that one. Which reminds me, I saw a YouTube short which I can't find now. It's not in my history for some reason. Where like talking about why the theater sucks now. And the reason is the AIDS epidemic. Because I'm like, oh yeah, a lot of the older stuff is actually pretty good. I enjoy it. You want to know the reason why it's bad now? You want to know the reason why it's not as good now? By the way, Lin-Manuel Miranda does not do a style that I enjoy, and I don't like him as a person. That's not super important right now. But all the most like acclaimed and popular playwrights in the 70s and 80s, they be fucking hard and nasty. And then they died of AIDS. And then the second most qualified and popular became the most popular. And then they be fucking hard and nasty. And then they died of AIDS. And then this just kept going until what we had and an entire generation of an audience that are like connoisseurs, like full-on connoisseurs of the genre, and had high standards. They also died of the AIDS epidemic. And so the audience wasn't as honed into what was good. All the people working on it weren't as qualified, because all the most qualified people died of AIDS. And so, like, what was left is like a mediocre shadow of its former self. It's like a walking corpse. Like it's literally a walking corpse of a medium. And I'm not saying this as somebody who hates it. I'm saying this as somebody who like finds it a tragedy. And like now you can find like that sort of artistic and authorial quality in movies, and then everybody's flitting to movies because that's where all the good stuff is. And you have like a similar level of critics and artists and directors and all assorted filmmakers and prop people and techs and like all these people that come into the movie space that aren't going into the theater space, because movies didn't really lose that history of like you know, that history. I'm not getting the word, so I'm just gonna say that history. And so theater and opera died in the 80s. And like, honestly, I would love to see it come back. You know, I'd love to see it reach actual quality. I don't want it to be basically two playwrights and Lin-Manuel Miranda that have all the popular stuff that are all mid. That are all kind of mid. Anyways, that's something I was thinking about. Is like the AIDS epidemic ruins so much, shakes my looking straight down, shaking my fist. Ronald Reagan. But also Nixon. Nixon. Who I'm also looking down at, by the way. Man, they must be looking up at us right now. They're looking up upon us right now. And I hope they stay in hell forever. If hell's real. If hell is real, they better be there, or else I don't want to go to heaven. If Ronald Reagan and Nixon are in heaven, that's not one I want to go to. Not a fan of them as presidents. Neither of them were great. I would have preferred another Carter presidency. Turns out that he may have been goated with the sauce. He may have been good, actually. He may have been awesome as a president, but people didn't like him because he wasn't charismatic. And he told the hard truth about what we needed to do to, in order to save our country from future catastrophe, which we didn't heed, just like with Al Gore. And then now we're here. We're here because people that actually want to do positive change don't get elected, because good people don't seek power like bad people do. They still seek power, but it's for a goal. Anyways, and sabotage those who attempt to get past let's see. They raise the cost of their services and sabotage those who try to get around them. Period. While they are not a quotations good faction, it is true that they feel a genuine need, and they do actually protect their workers, period. Like, I want it to be a little complicated with them, where it's like, yes, they're acting a bit like a mob, but if they weren't there, it would probably be worse. It's sort of like, and I have not experienced all of Spider-Man PS4 by Insomniac Games, but I have seen a friend play part of it. You know, a bit of the beginning. Like through the Kingpin bit and then past it. I don't know how, like, Dr. Octavius is a good guy. Love him dearly. I sure hope he doesn't, you know, have to deal with Norman Osborn and then go down a path of villainy because of the arms that he's building, you know. You know, I sure hope his lab doesn't get shut down. That's about where I am in the story from what I know. But anyways, like, I feel like it's sort of like a Kingpin situation where once you get rid of him, there's like a power vacuum and a smash and grab it would happen. So, like, it's real complicated to try and get rid of them now because they are good? They're good for people. The people that are in the guild, right? The people who are in the Dock Workers Guild are genuinely taken care of, made sure that they are paid well, that they have time off work, but also they do price hike and extort people who are trying to use their services, or not trying to use. Well, they price hike and make sure that there's no competition. So you have to use them, and if you try and go around, get around them, then they don't like that very much. You know. Yeah, what can you do? And I think they are directly antagonistic with, what are you? Get me to the red light district. Where is Eldar? Ulsrider? Why is it hard to say? Why is it so hard to say? I've been practicing. Ulsrider. Add link. There we go. There we go. There we go. Alrighty, now back to the Marrowhurst docks. They are in. They are currently at war with. Eldar Ulfsrider. Man, I can barely speak my own language. I'll get used to speaking of them. I truly will. I trust myself. I believe in my powers. I believe in the powers of my teammates.
I believe fully and powerfully.
Pew, 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 pew. Let me drink some more water. Wonder bar. Currently at they are currently at war with Eldar Ulfsrider. And their goons. Jean-Claude, I do not name the goons. Now I'd like you to meet Mr. Moe and Mr. Lester. Those are unfortunate names. I'd like you to... Mr. Piss and Mr. Stachio. Mr. Jean-Claude, I do not name the goons. I love that so much. They are currently at war with Eldar Ulfsrider and their goons. The epic and cool goons. The epic Dubis and perhaps Gus. They are currently at war with Eldar Ulfsrider and their goons, who run a was it drug trafficking? Red light district. Drug traffickers, yes. Butt scratcher, butt scratcher. CKING. Operation 1P. No? Operation. Not upper, not upper, not upper. Operation. I realize if I do like a big like edit thing, I could have like an unlisted playlist from that channel with the VODs that I use for the recording. Or not the recording, but like VODs I use in that video, which would be very cool. You know, it'd be very cool, I think. And then people are like, hey, if you want to check out blah, 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 blah. Sorry if I'm talking out loud about what I want to do for the content creation, but it's fascinating. I love the process. Oh, and the goons who run a drug trafficking operation. There we go. I'm going to basically go red light district. I am going to copy all of this because I think that they are in both places. And then there we go. Because I don't need a thing linking me to the docks when I am when we are in the docks. We are on the docks of the Doc Martens. God, I love how complicated this web is getting. I love a complicated web. I love how complicated it is. If I go created time and then old to new, that should actually be more helpful to me. Because I could go, oh, yeah, I remember doing that. And also it'll help sort of fill stuff out once I feel like I have enough to work on or work from right now. Drug traffickers using reputable establishments, a group has taken advantage of the desperation and turmoil caused by the Civil War to establish a small drug empire. Yo, thank you for the follow. Great to see you here. I'm good. And also, you might want to check the formatting of your message. I had to form a Discord in my head. I don't know if it would be easier to read if you just said Discord. That's not a banned term in my chat. Also, I think I'm good. I'm just here to vibe, man. I'm just here to vibe, have a good time, do a bit of creating stuff, you know, do art, draw, write, game, looking to start doing storytime stuff. I've had enough people in my chat to know that generally people who send a message like that are not to be trusted. A couple of people in my community got scammed by somebody who said that, so I'm not making that mistake again. You know, somebody was like, hey, add me on Discord. And I was like, hey, and then people I like and count on me as a community leader got, like, had scam attempts done on them. So no thanks. Yeah, no, that was your first time chat, too. Not gonna ban you. Maybe come back with a better, you know, I just assume you're a scammer. Maybe come back, actually engage, you know? They're being supported by the Dawn Society as a way to create conditions that are easier to control. Their main operations are mainly in the docks, though they have been making moves in the red light district lately. The main rival of Eldar Usluder is a human woman named Valea. And then add a link. I know there's it didn't have the. My first mistake was not that, but that was a mistake. Add certain 5 minutes, by the way. In the red light district. There we go. And then there's yet another complicated link. Yet another complicated link. Let me do the graph view one more time. Oh, that is glorious. Look at that. And it just keeps going, because look at that. That's months of work, baby. That's months of work. What if I start putting some of the information I have in here down on, like, a Google Doc? And start formatting it, and then go, hey, here's stuff I need to build up. Here's stuff that I think is good already, yada yada yada, so on and so forth. Because I also want, so I'm narrowing my focus on this book to the city of Marrowhurst. But I do want to have adventures in there, like actual adventures that people can run and put into their own games, and that I can build off of in other expansion books. Because I think that would be cool. Cool and awesome. Assorted merchants. Bam. Bam. I'm putting periods here because I want, like, 5 or 6 named merchants, I think. Oh, because I want, like, I'm having trouble with the could you help me? And then they go to another person, and they're like, hello, I'm having trouble with the could you help me? And then it just keeps going. Oh, man. More Walter. I like drinking Walter. I mean, it is Pride Month, after all. Assorted merchants. Let me go to DnD research so I can go to you. Fantasy name generators. We love you, fantasy name generators. The Henny sounds like a good last name. The Henny. The Henny. That's a last name, by the way. I need to... Peter's not a bad one. Arthur's not a bad one either. Arthur Doheny. I think I'm gonna go with Arthur. I think I'm gonna go with actually no, let me go with A slightly different one, or more than, no, not a slight different one. Sean is not a bad first name. Sean Doheny. Of course, spelled S-E-A-N because I am not a heathen. Ad start in 5 seconds, apparently. Écoute des gens. Écoute des gens. Sean Doheny. Second one. Give me beautiful, beautiful names. Real names, Europe. Let me go to F for fuck you. That's actually not what it stands for. French. Jean-Marie Trouvé. Oh, immediately Jean-Marie Trouvé. Martin. Martin is also a good one. The last name, Toussaint. Le François, not a bad one. Charot. Also not a bad one. Jean-Marie is a great first name. Jean-Marie. I do not necessarily want Trouvé. I do not necessarily want Trouvé. Also, ad break is currently happening. I hope that is fine. I got sidetracked looking at names. Jean-Marie. Jean-Marie. Toussaint? What does Toussaint mean? Toussaint. Name meaning Toussaint. All Saints Day. Literally All Saints. I could probably guess with Saint, you know, Saint. Is both a French surname and a masculine French given name. Notable people with the name include, and it cuts off. Yeah, but I think Toussaint. Oh, but they don't. Maybe not Toussaint. Le François. Le François is not bad. Rochefort. Not how you pronounce it, but not a bad one. Dubois is a classic. A Basson, Bassol, not Basson, is slightly different. Bonnet, Pernet. There's Carpentier again, which I think might just mean carpenter. Carpentier. Maurice, Appel, Cognon. Or maybe it's just no, it's Ganon. Garnet. Martin. Basson. Bassot is not bad either. Menard. Menard is not bad. Gavreau. Gavreau is a classic. Boutreau. Jose. Levitt. No, let's not do that one. I keep saying Garo. Is there Sartre? Lou? Lou? Thibaudon? I'm just trying to find a funny one. Not a funny one, but like a good one. Chauffeur, a Geiger. A Geiger. Like the counter? In my hand, I'm gonna go stake me some government land. Uranium fever is gonna got me down. Barcelot. Barcelot. Démon. Au clair, Robillard. Bittencourt. Oh, Rousseau. How could I have possibly forgotten about Rousseau? Rousseau. Jean-Marie Rousseau. Jean-Marie Rousseau. Perfect name for a perfect man. Europe, English, British. Let's do, ooh, Dolly's a good first name. Dolly. Hi, Dolly. Dolly? Dolly Martin? Dolly Graham? Clark? Nah, Dolly Clark? Nah, not feeling the vibe of the character, you know? It's a good name, but not a good character name, you know? Dolly Gardner, Dolly Barrett, Dolly Hunt, Dolly Poole, Dolly Porter, Dolly Hall, Dolly Smith, Dolly Mills, Dolly Dixon. Dolly Dixon is kind of funny. Hello, my name is Dolly Dixon. Hello, my name is Dolly Dixon. It's good to meet you. Dolly Hudson, Dolly Shaw, Dolly Miller, Dolly James, Dolly Stone, Dolly Holland, Dolly Stewart, Dolly Ward, Dolly Lowe, Dolly Fisher, Dolly Booth, Dolly Doyle. I kind of like Dolly Fisher. Let's do Dolly Fisher. Dolly Fisher. Real names, Europe. I cannot give somebody the name Glasscock. I'm sorry, I'm too immature. I'm sorry, I'm too mature and gay. You know what my brain goes to. Gwendolyn. Oh, Gwendolyn's not a bad one. By the way, I'm looking at Welsh names right now. Bronwyn. Oh, Bronwyn is not a bad one. Not a bad option. Bronwyn. Not Griffin.
Peter, the...
Gwyneth? There's Gwyneth. Wait, no, I did the first name already. I need to find a last name. There's Reese, there's Roderick, there's Morris, there's Jenkins, there's Broderick? George Windsor. I'd rather not do Windsor. That name has been sullied a little bit by Batten Windsor. Llewellyn. Bronwyn Llewellyn, not a bad one. Bronwyn Howells? Pritchett? No, not Pritchett. Bronwyn Pierce? Bronwyn Pierce. Bronwyn Pierce, yeah. Real names. What's Galatian? Oh, like the the very northwest tip of Spain. Why was I forgetting Spain? Everybody here forgets Spain. It's fine. Yeah, no, it's the part of Spain that's basically Portugal, but not. Like linguistically, it's very similar to Portugal. Rather than the rest of the Spanish languages. Sure, let's do Galatian. I'm gonna be basing this off of my understanding of Spanish name pronunciation, and that's not how that goes. Froitoso Camba. Camba is not a bad one. Lucio. Chacon. Saavedra. Rodella. That's not a long L. Rodella. Fragoso. No. Cota. Varela. Cadavid. Vara. Acuna. Villar. Is it Villar, or did it undergo the Spanish thing of Villar, with the two L's being a ya? Is it a Villar, or is it Villar? I'm gonna go Villar. Mira. Borrero. Porras. Noia Novoa Troncoso? Yeah, Troncoso. I like the name Troncoso. Oh, but also Sandino. Oh, Sandino. Oh, man, I got rid of... No, I didn't. There's Sandino. Sandino is a great last name. Sandino. Anton? Oh, Frederico Lun. No, is it a Sha? Is it Shakob? Is Xacob? I don't know how to spell or pronounce Galatian. So that's something I'll look into. There's like videos on it and stuff. Hilario? Hilario, maybe. Pascual? No, I'll not necessarily a cop out, but definitely one where it's like not super unique would be Roberto. You know, it would be Roberto Sandino. Mendo's not a bad one. That's not a bad name. Matias. Is it X and H? So it would be Joaquin? Would it be, yeah, it would be Joaquin? Good to keep in mind. Is Joel? Or is it Joel? I don't know the rules of Galatian. I am so sorry to Galatian people. Please educate me. Pascual. Once again. Pascual? Pascual is not a bad name. Let's see if I can... There's Bartolomeu. Bartolomeu is not a bad one either. Bartolomeu Sandino. Bartolomeo Sandino. Let me see if I can find its spelling again. Bartolomeo. Bartolomeo Sandino. Yeah, my boy. Bartolomeo Sandino. Because I want to show that there's like regional trade, right? Maybe not global trade yet. So a lot of people from like super far-flung places might not super be... Yeah, they might not super be, what was the available for trade, I guess. Like they're not trading with a country on the corner of the world directly. Yeah, it's probably like a mix of trade routes, and like the people coming in on the ships with the stuff might not be the first people in the supply chain of, like, let's say the spice that's coming in, right? Like, let's say black pepper. That's a big one, right? That is not the first person on the black pepper's journey to get there. But I think that somebody like Bartolomeu Sandino, they are probably one of the more like far-flung people involved in this big trade route going on that's kind of being disturbed by the Civil War, you know. Where was I? Where's my thing? There we go. There it is. And then I think I want to look at real names once again. Europe, but this time go to German. I can't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Germany. I can't go hamburger. I can't call somebody hamburger. I'm sorry. Königsberg. I can Spiegelman, Strassmann, Hornberger. Dalman, Schiebel. Or is it Scheibel? I think it's Scheibel, actually. Korngold, Gottesman, Birnbaum, Frank, Birner? Yeah, Birner. Hildebrand, Loeb? No, that's the Loeb. I forget what OE is. I know EU. Franz Heber, Jonker? Yeah, Jonker. Kirchweh, Brutz, yeah, Brutzmann, Vogel, Schimpf, Hebrang, Hasselmann, let me see, Hog, Bischoff, Schillinger, Feinberg. No, it's Feinberg. Yeah, Feinberg, Mozart. I forget that Mozart is just like a regular ass last name because, you know, sometimes the musician is famous enough that you just say their last name, like Mozart. Wulflin, Eman, Hennig, Bernard, Goldscheißer, Scheider, Herzfeld, Mendel, Nun, Krunspan, Beckermann, Orndorff, Schreck, Reubke, Freisler, Korber, Kolbach, Rosenfeld, Stanger, Gutfreund. Does it is their name literally just Good Friend, Gutfreund? Hold on. Name. Meaning. Gutfreund. Why are there so many Israelis with the same? Oh right, yeah, no, the German and Polish Jews in the Holocaust, right? That's why. But also, I don't. Once again, we hate Israel. We do not hate Jewish people. My problem is the Israeli part. Hating Jewish people is anti-Semitic, and that is not okay. What does it mean, though? Okay. Relationships of a friendly suggests a historical association with amicable relationships of a friendly origin. So is it literally good friend? Good friend. France and Corsica? And England? What? Yeah, it literally means good friend. Good friend. Taking that. That's the name they are now. Good friends. Pace, good friends. Now to go for first name. There's Ute, there's Uta, there's Tanya, there's Sophie, there's Nini. That's a fun name. I'm not using that for this character, but I'm keeping that in mind. Lily, Alex, Viviana, Leia, Halmina, Dorothy, Nike, Yossi, Erna, Anika, Jenny, Helen, Sandra, Amalie, Tanya. Tanya's not a bad one. Yvette. Tanya's not a bad one. Tanya, good friends. Tanya, good friends. Tanya, good friends. There we go. Assorted merchants, and then we can start writing about them a little bit. See, so we have Sean Dehaney, we have Jean-Marie Rousseau, we have Dolly Fisher, we have Bronwyn Pierce, we have Bartholomew Sandino, then we have Tanya Goodfriends. Very cool and epic, perhaps. Perhaps awesome and epic and maybe even cool. Tanya Goodfriend. Let's start with Sean Doheny. Sean Doheny. Hailing from the Ring Kingdom to the northwest. Northwest, actually. It's a little bit more north than northwest, but it's still not quite north, because there's another kingdom to the north, I think.
So many words that are failing me, great heavens.
Let me get my Whopper. God, I have a sticky note that has a character name that Clockwork Stephanie came up with, deleted from New Vegas now. The rest is soul. Is Bruxum Baxter Blue, and I absolutely love him. Yes, you have to say his name like that. Bruxum Baxter Blue. I can only get my money by gambling. Bruxum Baxter Blue. How is Bruxum Blue gonna get out of this conundrum? I don't think Clockwork Stephanie conceived of how much I would love this character. Bruxum Baxter Blue. Heading from the neighboring kingdom to the northwest. Sean Doheny. I don't want to write too much about them, but I want to give a little like synopsis of their life so that people can build off of it, you know? Go like, this person's cool. What's their whole deal? And then there's something there that they can build off. You know, they could develop on their own. I don't know. Maybe this will lead them to going to the neighboring kingdom to the northwest, which I don't have a name for because I just came up with it. Like again, who knows? Is but one of what's a comedic but not overwhelming amount of children? 9? 8? Let's go 8. Nah, nine's a funnier number. Hailing from the neighboring kingdom to the northwest, Sean Doheny is but one of 9 children. So immediately, a family with a bunch of children. Born to farmer parents. He had a typical farm boy upbringing. Helping with labor and household tasks as soon as he was able. When he was about 15, 16, his family lost the farm in a terrible fire. There we go. Lost his family farm when he was like 15, 16 in a terrible fire. In order to help support his family, Doheny took a job working for a local merchant. Loading and unloading goods. I accidentally control V'd. Good find is back and better than ever, baby. Doheny took a job working for a local merchant, loading and unloading their goods. After working for this merchant for a good number of years, they retired. No comma. They retired, leaving the operations their business in the control of Sean Doheny. In the modern day, it has expanded into a relatively successful venture. Although the current civil war is putting some strain on his coffers. There we go. All right, and that is kind of all you'd need for a little basic thing of like, oh yeah, here's some backstory stuff. Here's why he started doing what he's doing, and sort of a little quick blurb about what the situation is for him now. Henny, Jean-Marie Rousseau. Jean-Marie Rousseau. So, this is how it was spelled in the fantasy name generator. So if it's incorrect, I am sorry. I did not fact check this. Oh, did I offend you, liberal? 1, I'm sorry. 2, it won't happen again. Jean-Marie Rousseau. Rousseau, what happened to Rousseau? What is Rousseau's life story? Jean-Marie Rousseau. Rousseau. Grew up in the... I get to put a thing. The... Hold on, let me see what it's called. The kingdom, neighboring kingdom. It's just called neighboring kingdom. In the neighboring kingdom to the south. Man, that was a big mix-up of all my little nobules. All my little doohickeys, my massive brain web because I'm powerful. Blame it on the nobules. Rousseau grew up in the neighboring kingdom to the south. What is now a part of the neighboring kingdom to the south, but until recently was a part of Adlink, the kingdom, which will be renamed. Imagine like Aquitaine. I believe it's Aquitaine. Aquitaine. What was England's French holdings called? The Angevin Empire. It's like it's sort of like the Angevin Empire a little bit, where like they had a they had holdings in the neighboring kingdom to the south, or their traditional lands because they held a claim from something that happened, right? And then they're currently at war with them, and they've lost their holdings, but they're still at war with them. And then they also have the Civil War going on, so the kingdom's not doing so hot. is a big, complicated mess. But until recently was a part of the kingdom. Oh, his family being loyalists to the crown moved to let me add yet another link, chat. Moved to the barony of Hartford. His family was, our family is already a merchant family, so, or a family of merchants, was already a family of merchants. So, Russo was expected to be a part of the family business. I think that's right. His heart is not truly in it. However, as he wishes he could be a playwright. What do you mean? Why is it spelled like this? When right is like this, but playwright is like this, but hold on, I need to look this up. A wright, W-R-I-G-H-T, is a skilled worker, usually a maker or builder, such as a shipwright, a wheelwright, or a playwright. Okay, so it's a different word entirely. Okay. Whereas write, W-R-I-T-E, is somebody who writes, and so I got confused with playwright because I thought they were the ones that write plays, so it makes sense that they would be a playwright. He wishes he could be a playwright. At any is it P-O-R? Opportunity. At any opportunity, he will ask others to give feedback on the current play he's writing. Most of these scripts are not very good, but he continues to but he insists that he can be The next, not Shakespeare. Shakespeare doesn't exist. What's a good name for like a famous playwright of this world? Real names, Europe. Famous, awesome, cool. Cosmic name, real names, Europe, cosmic names? In this generator, you'll find names for constellations, celestial bodies, and so on. In real names, Europe? Okay. I guess the constellations are European. What do you mean the last name Gobbo? Well, I have to put that in now. I have to put in Gobbo. I'm getting a story in my mind about who Gobbo is. Fantasy and folklore. Where are you, Goblin? Goblin names. Frogs, Kazukt, Knorbaz, Brioslet, Gjaverd. Hold on. Thrill. Let me find a real funny one where it's like, oh, okay, cool, yes, of course. Galgob. Gal Gobbo is funny, but that's a little too close to Gal Gadot. And any likeness to real people or real people's names is entirely not because of me. I'm not doing that on purpose. Lies? Somebody being named Lies. 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 Glibdelelk is funny. Grab sacks. Oh, Grab Sacks Gobbo is an awesome name. The next Grabsack's Gobbo. Amazing 10 out of 10 name. Grabsack's Gobbo. A famous playwright. Known throughout the continent. For fantastic character drama and current social commentary. There we go. Some debate if he is even a real person. Due to the massive difference in style between many of his plays. In truth, Grabsax Gobbo is a group of about 12 goblins. Grabsax Gobbo is a group of about 12 goblins who rotate as writer and this is why nobody has ever seen him in person. There we go. Awesome. We love Grabsax Gobbo. But he insists that he can become the next Grabsax Gobbo. Absolute cinema. We love him. We love him even though he's actually a group of 12 goblins. I really hope that Grabsax Gobbo becomes a fan favorite character. Or at least a fan favorite idea. Dolly Fisher. Is a merchant and fishmonger. For those who don't know, a monger is somebody who sells something. So a fish, or I guess builds something up because spreads it around. Something like that. Because there's fishmonger, there's fearmonger, there's the barrelmonger, you know, the alemonger, like these sorts of things. And it's sort of like the suffix "ard" being being in the habit of wizard, drunkard, you know, that sort of thing. I wonder what billiard is. You billiard! Actually, I think that's a French word, so it doesn't really apply, but, you know, words. Hi, my name is Billy Ard. It's good to meet you. Dolly Fisher is a merchant and fishmonger who lives in add link the rat's nest. That's right, baby, bringing her all the way back in. We're bringing back the fucking rat's nest. Let's fucking go. I love this place. It's like my favorite part of the city. It's a merchant and fishmonger who lives in the rat's nest. And is the mother of 5 children. Her Fisher's family are a line of sorcerers, and she is trying... She wishes to get her children into... Add link once again. Add link. University of Marrowhurst. Maybe not the University of Marrowhurst, actually, because they're probably not like adults yet. Get her children proper educations. There we go. I think I'm gonna base Dolly Fisher a little bit on the Heap family from the Septimus Heap books a little bit, because I find that wonderful. They have more children though. I forget all of their children. Hold on. Septimus Heap family. The Heap family. Give them to me. Thank you, Septimus Heap Fandom Wiki. Okay, so Silas and Sarah have, and I quote, Simon Heap, Sam Heap, Eric Heap, Ed Heap, Jojo Heap, Nico Heap, Septimus Heap, the titular character of the series, and Jenna Heap. So they have 8 children, 7 biological children, 1 adopted child, but 8 children. But I think with the Fishers they have 5. 5 is a good number, I think. I would love to have my the first 2 Septimus Heap books back so that I could read them again. But you know, such is the way of things. I actually got the first one when it was new. I remember getting it back like 2008-ish. Like when it brand spanking new. It's like a first edition copy, probably. Not that matters. It's not a collector's item. It's like it has yellowing on the pages and like it has that old book smell, and you know. If I publish proper books, I'm gonna make sure that when they age, they get that proper yellowing and that glue smell. I want people to enjoy my book for a long time and experience that like old book at a library feel. That is very important to me. That's not including these adventures. I mean properly published books, like novels. I don't even mean my comic book either, even though that would be a proper published book. At certain, like, 1:45, like 1 minute 45, by the way. She wishes to get her children proper educations. Her husband... It's definitely Fisher. But now I can go to real names Europe. English. Give it unto me. Rowan's not a bad name. Arlo's not a bad name. Arlo Fisher. Ethan Fisher. Hey, Ethan, catch this fish. Edward Fisher, Ivan Fisher, Robert Fisher. Ashley is not the name I'm looking for. Josiah Fisher, nah. How about... Historic. Da, 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 da. Old West is not historic. That is 200 years ago. Edwardian is also not historic. That is a couple hundred years ago. Actually, no, that's like 100, like a bit over 100 years ago. The fucking historic names. 20th century English. Dear God, that was 20th century was 27 years ago at the end of it. Not Gothic names, not Frankish names, not Hellenic, Hittite, Edo, period, Japan names, Latin names, Mayan names, Mongolian, medieval Mongolian, Moorish. The card says the Moops. Also, ad break has started. Congratulations. To be Shakespearean. So there's Shakespearean names again. I might do Shakespearean names because it's a couple hundred years off, but it should be fine. John Fisher is always a classic. Corin Fisher? No, not feeling that one. Vernon Fisher. Vernon Fisher. I'm trying to figure out how it sounds in my name. Not in my name. In my mouth. Who named their child Froth? You are the froth from my loins, and so I will name you Froth, my son. Lucius Fisher. No. Vernon. Either Vernon or Wernon. Vernon Fisher. I feel like I can go with that one. But I'm gonna see if I... Vernon... Clitus? C-L-I-T-U-S. Hi, my name's Clitus. You were looking for the clit? You found me. But yeah, no, I think... Oh, Balthazar's a wonderful name, but not for him. Balthazar Fisher. Balthazar. I'm gonna go with Vernon. Vernon Fisher. Vernon. Yeah, Vernon Fisher. Add another link. I love adding links. It makes things more complicated. Genuinely, love it. 10 out of... A solid number out of 10. Won't tell you what number, but it's a number. It's a number. Congratulations. Yeah, the number happened and it's real. Her husband, Vernon Fisher. What does he do? What is he doing? What doing? Is a member of the Dock Workers Guild. Well, no, the Dock Workers Guild means that he would get pretty decent wage, as I've specified. He has to work somewhere else. He has to work somewhere else. He works somehow, some way. Very on the nose. Fisherman who does most of his fishing up the Marrow River. There we go. So a fisher and a fishmonger are married and want to give their children good education. Their home is filled to the brim with, or filled with as many books as they can get their hands on, which is a bit easier in than it was in the real world due to magic, but is still not easy. So yeah, no, it's probably easier to get books, like proper books, because instead of just being like handwritten, right? Imagine somebody has the ability to have mage hand, right? And then they are able to write 2 books at once because they are a highly skilled scribe, right? Or be able to write the manuscript and with their mage hand be able to illuminate that manuscript, right? That would save some time. Yeah, at least that's the vision. Or like with the requisite components, being able to have a master copy. Oh, but no, that would just become the printing press. That would just be the printing press. Oh, now that I'm thinking about it, what if they're going through the when did the Gutenberg press invention? When was the printing press invented? How far away? 1440. So this magical world would basically have the printing press invented hundreds of years before it did in real life, but it would still be locked behind people who could use magic. Versus like your random schmuck who could get their hands on the machine, you know? Oh, I've invented the printing revolution. Oh, which is gonna mean that somebody's gonna be able to do a Martin Luther. Oh, big expansion of the brain. Protestant Reformation date. Okay, so the printing, basically, printing has been invented because of Fabricate. Because, listen, it's probably not easy to get paper or vellum, right? paper production in 1440s. History of paper. Paper in Europe. The oldest known paper document in Europe is the Mozarab Missal of Silos from the 11th century. The 1000s, baby. We're back on top. That fits. That works. That's awesome. That's cool. That's epic. We are so back. Probably using paper made in the Islamic part of the Iberian Peninsula. So this is when like the Spain Portugal region was Muslim. They used hemp and linen rags as a source of paper. We are so fucking back. You can make paper out of linen. You can make paper out of linen. We are so back. Linen farmers stay winning in the 11th century, the 11th and 12th century. Yes, we stay winning. Oh, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, it's a little funky, but the times work out. Yes! Hold on. The world! I need to put this somewhere, so I'm putting it in the world. Paper. The paper revolution. That's what I'm calling it, the paper revolution. The paper revolution is what it will be called by historians in the future. In the modern day of the setting, mages have recently discovered, not discovered, discovered that you can take the proper amount of paper made in this case with linen or vellum. Vellum. Is that how you spell it? Vellum. Yeah, vellum. Vellum. And ink. While casting the fabricate spell. And is that what it's called? Hold on. Fabricate 5e. Wiki, give it to me. I trust you, not D&D Beyond. You convert raw materials into products of the same material. For example, you can fabricate a wooden bridge from a clump of trees. A wooden bridge is an aggregate of different parts and materials. And so, through my ruling, and this is my setting, you should be able to basically copy paper and like use paper and ink and fabricate. Casting time is 10 minutes, so it's not immediate. But imagine going from having to write everything by hand. If you want to make copies, you have to physically scribe it down, to making a copy by 10 minutes, casting a 4th level transmutation spell. This still means that you have to be a dedicated mage in order to have access to 4th level spells, which still limits it behind the rich and powerful, which means that it still fits the setting in an interesting way, while having the ability to just go, yeah, no, there's a copy of this book here, but, you know, still have it be tightly controlled more so. And like they can price them however the hell they want. It's like, yeah, we took you know, we spent years studying in order to be able to create copies of this glorious manuscript. Is fabricate a ritual 5e. For once, Reddit does not answer my question. Ritual spells can be cast following the normal rules of spell casting. The ritual version. So this is from EN World RPG News and Reviews. It's like it has a cool blog that sometimes I like to go to get people's opinions and knowledge on D&D stuff, even though it's not just D&D. It's just RPGs in general, but you know. The ritual version of a spell takes 10 minutes per spell level. Longer to cast than normal. For example, a 5th level ritual takes an extra 50 minutes to cast. Casting a ritual version of a spell doesn't expend a spell slot, which means the ritual version of a spell can be cast at a higher level. The ritual version of a spell cannot be cast more than once per day. Well, that means that that's bullshit. Not that that's bullshit. That's incredibly useful for some spells, but not for Fabricate. So Fabricate seems to just be a spell that has a casting time of 10 minutes and is a 4th level transmutation spell. Very cool and awesome and fair, honestly. While casting the Fabricate to create a I don't think it's a complete copy of a book, it's just the pages, right? Because I don't think it would be too I mean, you could also put wood and leather in there. But like, you know, what you'd have to, it would all have to be connected, and then you'd also have to have the string. And so I think I think ultimately it's easier to like it would probably be easier, those are my words, to fabricate print the all of the pages of a book on a single sheet, cut them out, and then bind the book normally. The pages of a book in a single print sheet. This print sheet is then cut to form the pages, which they will then bind in the normal fashion. That they will bind in the normal fashion. While this process is still slow and takes the expertise of skilled mages with access to 4th level spells, it is still a significant. Is it significant? Yes, it's significant. I say significant sometimes, and then sometimes I say significant. I don't know. Oh boy. It is still a significant improvement of manually copying a text by hand. Bam. Yeah, no, like, it's still slow, right? Like, they have to. I'll put my foot down on this. They cannot just bind the book with fabricate because that's a little too complicated for the spell, I think. But, you know, taking taking paper and ink and then putting it together in an orientation, into a single big print sheet, like, that's doable. That's more than doable. Right, like a bridge over a river, right? Like, you could use stone for that. That makes sense. If it's a wooden bridge, that's 2 things that you would have to use. Maybe 3. Maybe 3. Rope and wood. And so I have a personal rule I think I want to implement with fabricate, that it cannot be materially too complicated. Which is why, they can't just make really complicated stuff with fabricate. They still have to have artisans and stuff, because, yeah. Also, if people who make stuff by hand, like, if it's cheap enough, can still make more stuff at a time, I think. I mean, if you have enough wood and then you put like, let's say cups, right? Let's say you make wooden cups. With fabricate, you can make a bunch of wooden cups, but that would expel a 4th level spell slot, whereas some random schmuck, some random person who kind of knows how to use woodworking tools can just belt them out all day, and maybe it'll be about as much, but then like they don't have to have the training of 4th level spell slots. That's I'd imagine years of college education, or like years of self-taught like learning. Although don't let the University of Marrowhurst that I told you know that I told you. You could just learn magic on your own. You can be self-taught. It's just a little harder because you have to find the resources yourself. You could just do that. You know, the universities don't want you to know that. You can learn by yourself. All right, I ended up talking a bit about the where is it? County of Faden, Hartford, Marrowhurst. This is why I love having a wiki in my pewter for my world building. Shout out Obsidian, Marrowhurst Docks. I love that coming up with Dolly Fisher and her husband Vernon Fisher and their children helped me figure out how printing works in my world. How basically printing works in my world. I think that's awesome, actually. This is fucking sick. I'm very happy with that. I think we have actually made some really good progress today. So, I want to go make food and stuff before I have something to do today, a bit later, and so I will be doing my ending read. I've been Bajangles. You can find me over here on Twitch Tuesdays, Fridays, and Sundays, noon Pacific Standard Time. I would much appreciate a follow. Speaking of follow, you could follow me over on Blue Sky and Tumblr, both at BigBoyArt1, username Bajangles. And if you'd be so kind, I'd much appreciate it if you could join the Discord. It's either !Discord in the chat, or if you're watching on YouTube, in the description down below. And speaking of YouTube, hi YouTube. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like my stuff to keep up to date. And so with that, it's been a wonderful time. I will be back on Sunday to do maybe the last half of Off. It might become 3 streams, but I would like for it to stay as 2 streams because we've been making good progress. And then on Monday, I will be on the Discord doing Multiplayer Monday. And then on Tuesday, we will be doing One Piece fan art once again. I have a feeling we will be making a lot of progress on the Axane Morgan drawing on Tuesday. Just a hunch. I can feel my. I was about to say I can feel myself, not on stream, not on stream. It doesn't matter how much it's Pride Month. That's against terms of service. I know what I'm capable of, is what I mean. And so with that, it has been a wonderful time. I will catch you all on the flip-flop. Bye-bye.